Hey there, good morning. Welcome to my morning tarot metaphysical sharing. So this morning, I pulled a card that I found I had a lot of resistance to going into meditation about. So I did that thing that I do, which is I meditated for longer, and I really had to call in my guides and angels and breathe a lot to get connected with this, because I felt, like I said, resistance. And so today's card, the theme of the card is sorrow. I'm going to show you the picture, and then we're going to talk a little bit about the archetypal themes and how they might relate to you in your life. And then I'll catch that thread and see what also arises. So we'll look at the card now. So there it is, sorrow. And right away I saw this looked like to me a Shaolin monk, and it's the 9 of air. So I actually went and looked up Shaolin monks, because although I had been a martial artist for many years, it was not from the Shaolin temples. But I very much relate to this concept of warrior monk. In fact, the first gym that I trained at in New Mexico many years ago was called Warrior Priest Arts. So this archetype of the warrior and the priest, or in my case the warrior and the priestess, is very strong in me, in my life, in my lineage, in my associations with other incarnational experiences, the monk and the priest or priestess. So the spiritual teacher and the warrior. But this one is sorrow. So this was really interesting that it's sorrow. Hi, Rupi. Hi, Marianne. Welcome. So the 9 of air, and what I got, what came to me as I was writing in my journal when I first pulled the card, was a saturation of thought. So the air is mind. The air card, which is symbolized by the gray color behind the 9 there. And the number 9 in the tarot is the number for in the excuse me, in the minor suits, is the saturation point. So 10 is where it's like over the top, and then you move into the court cards, but 9 is like a saturation point. So here is this guy who looks to me like a Shaolin monk, in a very isolated, in this stark looking, almost chamber-like looking space, and saturated with thoughts that have led to or are based in sorrow. Hi Chris, good morning. So let's tune into what is this about, and what message might this be for you, for someone you love. So just let me tune in for a minute to do that thing I do where I catch the thread. And I want to tie in these pieces of warrior priest archetype, or Shaolin monk archetype, sorrow, and an over saturation of thoughts. So give me a moment here and let me see what comes in first. So it's still this Shaolin monk. And my apologies to anyone who studied in the Shaolin arts. If I have this incorrect, by all means, please share what you know about this. But the first thing I'm getting is this understanding that apparently the Shaolin monks, they have a very rigorous, disciplined life, and they study 36 different weapons, and weapons are used for war. Now I get that self-defense, weapons for self-defense are valuable, but I'm looking at it again in the context of this sorrow, and in the context of the world we're living in. So, and also that it's an air sign, so that's also words and communication and thought. So the first thought I have is, where are you experiencing sorrow around expressions, words, things you've said that were like weapon-like, were cruel or unkind. Interesting, my throat is... Let me get some water. So, is there some place in your life where that which you have said has hurt another, where now you're feeling sorrow or regret around that? So that's the first thing that comes. But there's something else that's sort of knocking at my field here. Hi, Ronald, welcome. Let me just tune into that and notice what that is, because I'm noticing I'm having a physical response, so I have to connect with this to find out what's here. What wants to be expressed is that which was not said in defense of oneself. So I feel there's a message here for someone. I certainly can relate to that. So I'll share how this has shown up for me. Have you ever experienced a time where you've been attacked verbally by someone, or even physically, but verbally? And this could be childhood stuff, where you didn't have the capacity to speak in defense of yourself, to share from here in defense of yourself. And so what's happened is over time, you've had a war in your mind so that you could say all those things you wanted to say that you didn't say. And what does that do for your body and your mind and your spirit when, hi Sylvia, welcome, thanks for the hearts. What does it do for your mind and your spirit when you war continually? Remember, air, the air sign is the sign of thoughts. And when we constantly war in our mind, it ages us. And look at his wrinkles. I mean, he makes me look like a spring chicken. You know, this, you could see the sorrow in his expression. And this is kind of what happens to us, and he's sort of burdened by the weight of these thoughts that are the saturation of thoughts. So what words have gone unspoken that you need to free yourself of? And when I ask that, I want to be really clear. Hi, Michael, welcome. I want to be really clear here that it can be very poisonous to say those words actually literally to the other person. That's not what I'm inviting here. So I'm glad you're relating, Sylvia. I'm glad you're relating, because I felt like I had to share this with someone. So the thing is, when we have built up over time the unspoken words to defend ourselves, it's a wounding inside, because we're going over and we're fighting and we're making those wars in our mind, but the only person they're hurting is us. There's a saying that goes, how does it go? Holding on to hatred is like taking poison and hoping the other person will die. So what do we do? That's the most important thing. So I'm bringing this up, and I'm getting some of you are resonating perhaps with this feeling of those old wars in our minds. There's the Cranberries made a song about it in the 90s, I think. So what do we do? One thing right away is, actually I have a few tools, so let's go for them. Let me share with you the tools. Let's start with the Shaolin monks and their 36 weapons that they learn for self-defense and in case of war. So I have, back home, I don't have it here with me in Bali, I have it in Sedona, this foam padded baseball bat. It's pretty light. It's like a kid's wiffle ball bat, like a little kid's bat, or for t-ball. And I use that to beat the living crap out of whatever needs to be beaten up. I'll either make a pile of pillows, but they tend to spread around, or I just beat my bed up. And so when I went through something very intense right after my marriage, with a personal attack by someone close to me, a character assassination that was really harsh, I knew it made absolutely zero or negative number sense to engage in anything with this person who was verbally attacking. It didn't make any sense. It's like arguing with a hole in the ground. There's no way you're going to find peace, rapport, or understanding with someone who's violently verbally attacking. So what I did was I pulled out all these tools, and more tools came to me. So the first tool was this baseball bat, this padded styrofoam T-ball kid's bat. And I just started letting out my feelings when they would arise by beating up first the pillows, but then, like I said, I found that a pile of pillows would spread around too much. So I just went literally to my bed, and I just started pounding on the bed. And when those feelings would arise, I'd do that again. And so I really encourage you. I think I spent like 15 bucks, and I got myself this bat from Amazon, and I have it when I need it. So if you have a lot of buried anger and rage from years of being silent in the face of attack of any kind, character assassination, emotional abuse, denigration by a lover or parents or anyone like that, then by all means, I suggest you literally physically get it out of your body. And one of the simple ways is to have that bat so that you can rage. Okay, so that's one tool. Another tool is to journal. Write a letter to the person, not to send it, but to get out all of your feelings about it. Okay, so that's another way. Let's see, there's more. Then there's the prayers, and I shared them yesterday, and I'm going to share them again because they're so powerful. Asking for higher guidance and surrendering your need to be at war with this person. Because when you really truly recognize that we are all one in the divine, then everything that shows up in your field is actually a part of you. And that's a really high octave recognition. Hi, Joe, welcome. So recognizing, so let me back up here because the information's coming fast. So I'll share with you the prayers. I offer this up to the Holy Spirit that we may both be healed and free. This is from A Course in Miracles. And the Course in Miracles is a powerful way to develop a forgiveness practice that allows you to release all held judgments of others because you recognize the ultimate oneness of us all. So that's like the high spiritual level of it. But you can just literally, when you catch yourself and your mind going through that battle to the point where you feel like it's burdening and aging you and isolating you from love because your mind is spun out in anger and hate and sorrow, just really surrender to the divine. I offer this up to the Holy Spirit or God or Goddess. I offer this up to the divine that we may both be healed and free, or that I may be healed and freed from this war in my mind. So that's a really powerful also tool. The other one is please transform my perception so that I may see the truth. So transforming your perception will help as well. So if you have felt victimized by the verbal, physical, or psychological abuses of others, victim is a really disempowered place to be. You have to transform your perception and see the choices you made as survival, perhaps, in that time. So that's really important as well. And so please transform my perception so that I may see the truth. So there's other things as well. You know, if you've been watching me, that I've been working a lot with frequency healing through sound healing in these amazing pyramids here in Ubud, Bali. So any kind of energy healing is going to help you, but particularly sound healing and breath work, because you need to release the old sorrow, the old wounds from your cellular tissue, particularly if there was physical abuse involved. So I would definitely recommend any kind of energy healing and balancing. Like I said, for me right now, those tools have been breath work and sound healing, but there are many energy healers around these days and amazing tools of healing that can also serve you as you release. Releasing the old wounds is what's key here. Releasing it from the mind, but releasing it also from the physical tissues of the body. And the longer you've been holding on to old sorrow, the more it will be in your tissues. So really allowing yourself the energy healing tools of release. And then finally, what I'm getting here is I want to touch on the sorrow that comes when we've had great loss. So I have I have at least 3 friends in my field right now who are dealing with loss. One, loss of a mate through death. Others, loss through breakup. And another, loss of family member through what I would call the splitting of the world. So as some of us move into the 5th dimensional consciousness, we are no longer a vibrational match for those living in that 3D world who are very caught up in the machinations of their mind, and the anger and the regret and the projection of their own hate onto others. And they sometimes will attack us. So we need to cut ties with those toxic people in our lives and move on. But there's sorrow involved in that, because sometimes these are close family members. And we realize, like, ooh, yeah, this is like, I love you, but from afar, and I'm not engaging anymore in this toxic relationship. I send you love for your peace of mind, but peace out. So that will also bring up sorrow, because what could I have done better? I love this person, I see them suffering, I don't want them to suffer. Should I have done more? Should I have said something different? All of that can lead to a lot of inner turmoil. And the truth is that we are living in times where those of us who are awakening and healing and saying, you know what? I refuse to carry the sorrow and regret and burdens of the past, because I need to up-level my frequency in order to bring light to this dark place of planet Earth, in order to live my truest expression of myself in service to the light. And as we do that, as we step in and step up and claim that and say no more to the miserable dynamics with others, we have to cut ties. And that will lead to sorrow. Sometimes that led to the end of a marriage for me. That's led to the end of a relationship with a family member for me, because I won't do the toxic dance. It serves nothing and no one. And I had to go through my sorrow feelings about that. And certainly for those of us who have lost a loved one, this is, you know, the only way out is through. We have to go through all of the feelings of grief, of letting go of a loved one. And so, let me tune in here to see if there's more before I start wrapping up for the day. It is no longer okay for us to carry the burdens of the suffering of others. It doesn't actually help them. It doesn't actually help them to engage in toxic, dysfunctional relationships. It doesn't help to continue to engage in the war in our own minds about what should have or shouldn't have been said or done. We need to release it all. We need to begin to up-level our own vibrational frequency so that we can hold more light for all those unable to do it. And so what is it that you need to do to take yourself out of the isolation that comes from the sorrow of taking on the burdens of the world, or the regret of what you did or didn't do? We have all made mistakes. We have all sinned. And the word sin actually means to miss the mark. We've all done it. None of us are perfect. We've made mistakes. But as we awaken and shift to this other consciousness, that old you no longer, it's like it's in an old timeline. It's not even who you are anymore. And I'm not saying that so that you can excuse bad behavior. If you need to apologize for things you've done, by all means, make that apology. But if there are those who have really abused power with you and you know they're not going to apologize to you, find the way to let it go. Get that styrofoam bat and beat the bat, beat your bed and express and get it out of your physical body. Journal, write a letter to them, not because you're going to send it, but to give yourself permission to express all of the anger and the rage so it's not carried around in your body anymore. Use energy healing tools like breath work or sound healing or many others. And please, healers who watch this, please write below, tell us what those modalities are that have worked for you or that you do to help others release sorrow and regret and remorse and grief. And if you are going through a loss or you have to let go of a relationship with a loved one because it's so toxic, give yourself permission to feel those feelings, but get them out, let them out, don't hold on to them. Because then you can't access the light frequencies, the higher frequencies, which are really going to catapult you into this new dimension of experience. Okay, so what else? I ask, please, if you found value here and you know someone who might resonate with the way I'm delivering this message, please share it. Please comment below, make a relevant comment below. All of these help to spread this and allow me to reach the people I'm here to serve. And if you really resonate with what I'm saying and you're curious about what I do, you can always click the link above, which I will put after I post this, after I publish this. And before I complete, I want to check these longer comments and see if a response is important here. Thank you for opening my eyes and my heart to the subject. The technique seems not matching my needs, but will dance and also pray combined with song. So, Marianne, let's continue that conversation in the thread here below. I'm not sure which technique you refer to. I've offered a few, but I'm happy to continue that conversation. Joe, okay. Still in the process of being able to integrate them. Good subject. Okay, great. Yeah, so many of us we've worked with different processes. And so, I want to invite you to have a conversation with me if you, on your own, these things have not worked for you. Because as a healer, NLP practitioner, and ceremonialist, I work intensively with people to help them finally reprogram the subconscious mind so that they can be free. So I've got other tools. It's not enough always to do it on our own. So, and sometimes we really do need help. We need the facilitation of other healers and guides to help us clear that old material. So I'm happy to have a conversation with you about it. And again, my website can show you some of those things. And I can link the direct page below if you want. So just write me and let me know. In this thread here, you can write and tell me. And okay, let's see. Anything else? Nope, I think that's it. So, wishing you bright blessings. And again, with this theme of sorrow, looking for the physical, spiritual, and also mental tools to change, to free yourself of the burdens of sorrow and isolation that may come from holding on to years of old crap that needs to be freed, and yet done in a way that honors you and honors all that were involved. So happy to continue that conversation and share more about the tools that I have to help you do that, because they're very powerful and effective. And we need you. We need your light. We need your light. So please, please free yourself of the old burdens, the old regret, the old wounds. You serve nothing and no one by holding on and suffering. We need your light. So with that, I will sign off for the day, sending you much love and light. Until tomorrow. Mwah.